Greetings, class. This is what will hopefully be a short introductory series of comments about what we are going to be working with over the next several days. This week is all about exploring relationships, specifically relationships between two variables in the social sciences. Everything we've done up to this point has been, for the most part, with some exceptions, but for the most part, univariate in nature. This week, we're going to tackle bivariate analyses. In other words, using two variables at the same time in order to test and detect whether or not there is a relationship between two things. And also, if there is a relationship between two variables, two things, two variables, if there is a relationship, to determine the direction of the relationship as well as the strength of the relationship. A lot of social science research is based on the analysis of relationships. And so one of the things that you'll find out later on when you tackle your problem set number 3 is you're going to be asked to test hypotheses. And this is the first time we've really encountered hypotheses. We haven't talked about hypotheses up to this point. But there are a lot of different ways to talk about hypotheses. A hypothesis really is, in a sense, a type of question that we will try to answer using data. A hypothesis is a statement about the nature of the world around us, or it's a statement, in the case of this week's material, a statement about the relationship between two things, two variables. Chapter 5, and hopefully you've at least had a chance to take a quick look at Chapter 5, if not read the entirety of Chapter 5. It's a very long chapter, a very involved chapter. I mentioned that earlier in previous weeks. But this week we are only going to tackle, broadly speaking, we're going to tackle two specific topics from Chapter 5. We're going to tackle scatter plots, and we're going to tackle scatter plots companion statistic, referred to as Pearson's R. Now, Pearson's R has a long name. The long name, its formal name, if you will, is Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient. But we can just call it Pearson's R for short, or we can just call it R. Now, I want to be very clear, when you work with Pearson's R, it's very important for you to use the lowercase r, not capital R, lowercase r, in order to refer to Pearson's R analysis. And again, those two procedures, or those two techniques, scatter plots and Pearson's R, can be used to investigate the relationship, the existence of a relationship between two variables, and also beyond that can be used to determine the strength and direction of that relationship as well. And so those are just some introductory remarks. If you haven't finished your read of Chapter 1 at this point in time, I strongly encourage you to do so. Read Chapter 5 before you go any further. In addition, if you don't already know, you will see very shortly that there are a lot of materials in this week's folder, a ton of materials. So please be sure to investigate all those materials. I'm going to use some of those materials in subsequent video clips for this week. I will call those handouts out. I will try to be very clear about the title of the handout that I'm referring to if I use them in a YouTube clip. I won't refer to all the handouts that are available in this week's folder, but I will, if I'm referring to one specifically, I will let you know. I also wanted to introduce you. I have a co-host today, and this is a very important co-host, and one that will serve. She will serve an important function for a lot of hopefully the rest of the semester. Roxy, come here. Come here. Excuse me. Come here. Come here. Ooh. This is Roxy, R-O-X-Y, the stats dog. Roxy is a very keen observer of the environment around her, and she has the capability to examine a number of relationships in her mainly physical environment, but also her social environment as well. Anyway, Roxy is an 8-year-old hound. She's of what we might call the mixed variety, and she's been a very important part or will be a very important part of this class. So this is Roxy. Say hello, class. All right, well, more on Roxy later. All right, on to the next clip.